This is Discovery Africa TV. So welcome you to Trending today and all of the things that happened. Yes, couple of days from now, just a few days from now, we're going to be celebrating a number of things, and we have a couple of events ahead of us this week. One of it is Democracy Day, June 12th. We cannot but just keep talking about some of these occurrences that happened a few years ago, most especially while still talking about some of these events coming up. 27 years ago, when that was during Abacha, many Nigerians are still to, forget what happened during that time. Some Nigerians that are actually alive, though, even though history will keep telling us what happened during Abacha as the president of the Federal Republic of this country. You understand? The Federal Republic of Nigeria. So also alongside that Democracy Day, we're going to be celebrating the second anniversary, the second year in office of a distinguished senator, Godswill Obotapabio, as the Senate president. I know a number of you have one or two things to say about his administration as a Senate president. You are free to drop your comment. But let me leave you the rest of the video and everything that played out in this video, what was said by Ruben Abati, okpe, Rufai Oseni. Drop your comment and subscribe to this YouTube channel, Discovery Africa TV. Thank you, guys.
As we discuss the wave of defections that has sparked concern among opposition leaders about their political footing ahead of the 2027 general elections, a former spokesperson for Atiku Abubakar, Segun Sowunmi, has expressed a willingness to work with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu if appointed to a position. Sowunmi's comments come after he visited President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to celebrate the Eid al-Kabir festival, despite his previous strong criticism of the Tinubu administration, which included labeling the government as rudderless and accusing it of ethnic concentration and lopsidedness. Sowunmi expressed his admiration for Tinubu and his willingness to work with the president, stating that he will resign from the PDP if appointed to a position. Sowunmi made the comment on live television, but was quickly reminded how he condemned the Tinubu administration, including the appointment of Daniel Buala. Let's take a look.
I dislike.
This is you, Mr. You criticized Daniel Buala when he moved on to the other side.
I didn't.
You did.
No, listen.
You called him a tongue. You called him several names.
I never did.
Right on this program, you did.
No.
I dare say you did.
Okay.
If I knew you were going to deny it, I would have brought it.
Listen, what I said.
You criticized him.
No.
But I think you should apologize to him.
No.
But if you criticize Buala for working for Tinubu, and this is you talking so eloquently about Bola Tinubu,
listen, I own my mouth, I own my words, I own my arguments.
Does it look to you like betrayal of who? Of Atiku Abubakar?
Is he
you now taking sides?
Is he running for president now? He's running a coalition which everybody knows I'm not part of.
Daniel Buala, for example, you criticize him for moving to...
If you go and look, you will find out that I didn't really...
I will get it. I'll probably put it online.
It doesn't matter.
To remind you.
You could.
And Shehu definitely did get that video. Well, here is Sowunmi calling Daniel Buala a turncoat. Let's take a look.
Not come to the Nigerian people and say to them that a country that has normalized condolences today, condolences tomorrow, condolences the next day, and conversational annoyance of saying highly placed for more than 10 years cannot come and tell us that we are overreacting. I find it extremely offensive on behalf of those of them who have been standing with the APC, standing with this party for so long, that suddenly a turncoat Buala is now the one that is getting in pictures in the villa, getting pictures in front. Where is Ayo Yalowo, who crosses sword with me all the time? Where is Joy Bukwe, who crosses sword with me all the time? Where is Al-Hawan, Al-Hassan, who crosses sword with me? These are men who have been just like me in PDP. And suddenly, it's Buala now that is eating breakfast in the villa. It's Buala that is eating breakfast in Paris. And you expect people to believe that you know what you're doing?
All right. Well, you know what I say always, the internet never forgets. And we are seeing these defections, which he actually, these condolence visits, which he actually condemned in that particular video. And we see him in the picture. Let me take Daniel Buala's tweet. He was really happy. He wrote, Vindicated. I am happy that I led the mass exodus. We move. Now, on to the next one. Stay tuned. I mean, he is actually really, Segun Showemi here. Our favorite.
Okay, well, Shegun's comments,
Yes.
well, clearly, this is journalism in action,
Yes.
because you heard Sean Okunbaloye say, well, when the shoe was on the other foot and you were condemning Daniel Bwala, you said that this type of move, this type of exodus, this type of defection is wrong, and he denied it vehemently, and now we've all been able to see that actually
Yes.
he did say the same thing. And I do think that, as we've said many times, as you've said many times, as we've heard here, power is very addictive.
Yes.
Proximity to power is something that many people say that they can resist, but this is another example of someone not being able to resist the allure of the president. He said that he was paying some form of a visit to celebrate Salah, but as you said in the write-up there, he would be willing to work with the president if
Yes.
the president wanted him, and he would leave the PDP if the president wanted him. So perhaps he shouldn't be the person talking so much about other people. Perhaps he should put a muzzle on himself this time.
Put a muscle. I love that. Our favorite Niger wife.
I think it's just another perfect example of elite politics in
Yes.
action, which is that how does this affect the price of garri, the
That
price
is
of
the
bread,
question.
the exchange rate for the common man. And to be honest, this is a season of governance. It's a bit disappointing that our attention continues to be shifted towards this game of, shall I call it, musical chairs that's happening between the parties and with the political elite, and the issues that are being trivialized in the process. We speak of ideology in the world of politics, and unfortunately, we're not seeing any strong ideology. I think even last week, several times actually, we've also spoken about the fact that the person that they're all, sort of falling over themselves to try and please and to get close to is somebody who actually stood his ground on ideological grounds, and is somebody who stuck to his guns when he believed in something. He wasn't someone who would bend very easily and bow to whichever side for personal interest or for convenience at the time. So again, for me, I think the biggest calamity here is the fact that this is June 2025. Yes. We're trying to focus on governance and issues relating to governance. But, as the elite likes to do, the elite are more concerned about their stomach infrastructure and how things can benefit them and their families directly. And as journalists, it's important for us to continue to shift the focus back to governance. I'd love to know what his thoughts are on the current economic situation in the country.
And that's why I said I particularly loved, Aline Dume's comments about the APC summit, which was supposed to focus on what they have achieved, policies. This sort of conversation is what Nigerian people need to hear, what the administration has been doing so far, instead of these sort of endorsements and conversation about race to 2027. We'll take another story now. Miriam Abacha, widow of former Nigerian military head of state, General Sani Abacha, has defended her late husband against long-standing allegations of looting public funds. 27 years after his death, Miriam spoke on live television, claiming that the monies her husband kept for Nigeria vanished within months of his death in 1998, implying mismanagement of subsequent administrations. She challenged those accusing her husband of stashing billions abroad to provide concrete evidence, such as signatures or bank records. She also dismissed the notion that her husband single-handedly amassed wealth, suggesting that the accusations are rooted in tribalism, religious bias, or other societal issues. Let's take a look.
Who is the witness of the monies that were being stashed? Did you see the signature or the evidence of any monies stashed abroad? And the monies that my husband kept for Nigeria, in a few months, the monies vanished. People are not talking about that. Why are you blaming somebody for... Is that tribalism or religious program, or what is the problem with Nigerians? I pray for Nigerians. I pray for all of us. I pray that we should have goodness in our hearts. We should stop telling lies and blaming people. people. Why are we so bad towards each other? Because somebody is a northerner or a southerner, somebody is a Muslim or a Christian, or somebody is nice, or it's not fair. I think the press should try, the press should try to educate the people. You are here to educate the people, to inform the people, and to entertain. You are here to help the country. You are not here to bastardize people.
Indeed.
All right. I'd like to just read out some of the what they call Abacha loot that has been recovered. We know that the federal government has, in the past, announced the recovery of multiple tranches of funds reportedly stashed by Abacha in foreign accounts. Like I said, known as the Abacha loot. As of 2020, over $3.624 billion had been recovered across 4 different administrations. In May 2022 alone, the United Kingdom recovered $23 million linked to Abacha and his associates. 3 months later, the United States returned another $20 million. And in 2023, France returned $150 million to Nigeria, all traced back to the Abacha loot. Dr. Abati, over to you.
Okay, but we discussed this earlier.
Yeah.
We might as well repeat the point that Mrs. Abacha, as the wife of General Sani Abacha, may not have been privy to the details of what her husband and his associates were doing. But what we know is that the legacy of General Sani Abacha is a legacy of dictatorship, authoritarianism, brutality, theft, to the disadvantage of Nigerians. There may well be some persons who say, we remember General Abacha fondly, maybe in Bayelsa State. It was under his watch, for example, that Bayelsa State was secreted. But in terms of governance, I have made the point that the Abacha administration is regarded as the major reason why Nigerians, in fact, rebelled against the military and said, never again should we have, military rule in Nigeria, because President General Abacha presided over that period that Father George Husani has referred to in a book of the same title as the years of the locusts, the years out of Nigeria's history that the locusts ate. And, even children, even unborn children, have that experience of the dictatorship under Abacha. As for the loot, yes, you are correct. Abacha loot. The ancestor that continues to give.
That's what we call it.
In fact, what has been given from Abacha loot,
yes, from
the U.S. alone, is over $340 million. The entire loot is calculated to be within the range of $1 billion to $5 billion. And we have had the repatriation of the loot, civil forfeiture, civil assets forfeiture, from the island of New Jersey, from the United States, from France, from the UK, and also from Switzerland. And Nigeria has not even been able to get out of it.
Yeah.
Mrs. Abacha may have a point by saying that, Nigeria has not accounted for what they even got. Okay, she's raising the point about transparency and accountability.
Yeah.
I think she may have a point there, because the experience in Nigeria has been that even when loot is recovered, you don't know whether that loot will be relooted. So if she's asking for accountability with regard to how her husband's loot was managed, maybe she has a point there. But to try to rewrite history and, paint General Abacha in brighter colors, no. In fact, his associate, his number one associate, his boss, General Ibrahim Babangida, has fingered him as a person, in fact, who led the annulment, the conspiracy to annul the freest and fairest election ever conducted in this country on June 12, 1993. When the celebration of that special date in Nigeria history is marked in 2 days' time, there will be further accounting in terms of the role played by, General Abacha and his associated generals in Nigeria history. A sad moment in Nigeria history. So she is talking now. How does she want the Abiola family to feel?
Right.
How does she want those people who had to run away from Nigeria because General Abacha had unleashed jackboots against them. What does she want the media to say? Newspaper houses that were shut down. At that time, I think I was out of job for a whole year because, the Guardian was also shut down.
Shut down,
so it's not as if we were making it up. We were part of the story at that time, and we were all in this country together. Yeah. But I respect the fact that as the widow of General Abacha, she has a duty to be loyal to the memory of her husband. To be loyal to the memory of her husband. Let nobody, rewrite history. Yes. We were all part of it.
Yes. I mean, I believe that her comment has raised the question as to what is it that this administration will do with these loots that have been recovered. I've reeled out some of them. Or what has been done so far with the loot, the Abacha loot that has been returned to Nigeria. I believe this is the sort of questions that we're going to continue to ask to the lead of the Democracy Day in a few days from now. Would love to know what the government has done with the Abacha loot. Well, let's take this feel-good story now, highlighting a video featuring Nigeria's former First Lady, Dr. Patience Jonathan, reflecting on her challenging but fulfilling journey to earning a Doctor of Philosophy in Psychology, Guidance and Counseling from Ignatius Ajuri University of Education. Speaking at a Thanksgiving service, Dr. Jonathan described the 3-year program as feeling like 40 years due to its rigorous demands. Well, despite her age and former position, Dr. Jonathan said she wasn't ashamed to sit in class with much younger students. She admitted to facing difficulties in grasping concepts quickly, stating that she had to ask questions 3 times before she understood one. Let's take a look.
My lecturer will get me angry and tell me, go and repeat this page. I said, this man don't know that I'm old. Very soon I will leave this thing and go and rest. Because what am I going to do with it? It's just so cute.
He was widely regarded as one of Nigeria's most powerful military rulers, whose regime was known for human rights abuses, suppression of dissent, and widespread corruption. June 8 marks 27 years since the death of General Sani Abacha, a career soldier who seized power in 1993 and ruled with an iron fist until his sudden death in 1998. Abacha died at the Aso Rock Villa in Abuja at the age of 54. His death was officially reported as a heart attack. However, rumors circulated that he died from eating a poisoned apple given by concubines. Major Al-Mustafa, Abacha's former chief security officer, debunked the rumors, claiming that Abacha's health began to decline on June 7, 1998, after shaking hands with the security personnel from the late Palestinian leader, Yasser Arafat's entourage at the Abuja International Airport. Born on September 20, 1943, Abacha rose through the ranks of the military, playing key roles in several coups. After the annulment of the June 12, 1993 presidential election, won by the late Chief MKO Abiola, Abacha took control of the country through a military coup. Abacha's rule was marked by tight press censorship and the controversial execution of activist Ken Saro-Wiwa in 1995, which drew international condemnation. He was also responsible for other political assassination, including the execution of Kudirat Abiola, wife of the late MKO Abiola, and businessman Alfred Rowane, among others. Despite criticisms, he established the Petroleum Trust Fund to improve infrastructure and maintain some currency stability. Following his death, investigations revealed he stole billions, much of which has been recovered internationally. 27 years later, Abacha remains one of Nigeria's most controversial figures, remembered for his iron-fisted rule, corruption, and lasting impact on the nation's political